Tim Gunn is host and executive producer of Making the Cut on Amazon, a new fashion competition series that aired this spring. So first off, how did the relationship with Amazon come about after you and Heidi Klum, decided to move on from Project Runway?
Well, I'll be perfectly transparent about it. When Heidi and I made the bold decision to leave Project Runway, because we had a vision for a very much elevated fashion competition, it's Project Runway on steroids. We went out to pitch it, and quite frankly, because of Heidi's relationship with Netflix, she knows many of the executives. We met with Netflix twice, and the meetings were wonderful. But then Amazon reached out to our agents, who are right across the hall from each other at CAA, and said, "We hear Heidi and Tim are on the market." I love that term, on the market. And we'd like to talk to them. So we met with Jennifer Salke at Amazon Prime Video and her team. Heidi and I left the meeting, went out into the parking lot, gave each other a giant bear hugs and said, "It doesn't get any better than this." Not only was Amazon eager to be a creative partner, because this show is a real collaboration among many of us, including Jennifer Salke and her team, but what evolved was this whole shoppability aspect, which is simply phenomenal. To actually see something, a design that is the winning look for a particular episode, and to be able to buy it immediately is phenomenal. And the winning looks have been selling out in 24 hours, and 100% of the proceeds go to the winning designer. And it's simply a fantastic thing.
Well, we both already bought stuff, so
Sure.
Nothing expensive though. I bought a T-shirt with a butterfly, and
Well, almost everything is under $100 anyway, so there's nothing that is very expensive.
Exactly.
Yeah, and focusing on the business of fashion is so much a part of the show, in addition to the artistry of it. And I too bought that butterfly T-shirt, and it's really exciting to be able to because I interviewed a few of the designers over the course of the season, and to be able to watch them make something, talk to them about making something, and then own something that they made. It's like even as someone who likes clothes, like I've never had that relationship to my clothes before, and it's really exciting. Like, what were your thoughts about thinking about how that whole business aspect of the show, was that something you always wanted for, say, Project Runway, and that was a big part of what you wanted for this?
Well, yes. I mean, Heidi and I were observing, but also full participants in the evolution of the fashion industry since 2004, when Project Runway began, and it's a very different playing field now. It can't, a designer's success can't rely upon just a pretty dress. They have to have a whole package. That means they have to be a brand. So at the core of Making the Cut is branding. The designers design clothing, yes, but how did those designs fit into the larger rubric of their brand? And that was, for all of us, a much more interesting discussion and a much deeper, broader discussion. I mean, we really built depth through that line of inquiry. And Daniel, I share your feelings about the full circle of watching a show, getting excited about a design, then actually owning it. It's thrilling, and it's very surreal. I still have difficulty wrapping my brain around it. And quite frankly, Heidi and I we found the process to be so daunting that we were dubious about whether it could actually happen. But I have to say, Christine Beauchamp, the president of Amazon Fashion, and her team are phenomenal. I mean, our Amazon experiences have been just otherworldly. I'm not used to this.
But what else besides allowing the public to buy the fashions did you also want to include? Because there's a lot more money on the screen, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And to be able to be global, was that very important as well?
Yes, being global was critically important to us. We wanted to travel. We wanted to explore other fashion capitals other than New York. And of course, Paris and Tokyo were prime candidates, and they're very, very different, which appeal to us. And we literally take the designers around the world. We also introduced seamstresses because there's no reason why the designer should have to execute every stitch themselves. It allowed them to be more ambitious. It's a much clearer message about how the industry has evolved. And it takes a team to execute anything. And team management was part of our evaluation in determining who would win the season.
And the thing that makes or breaks any competition show like this is, of course, the contestants that you get on it. And it turned out to be like a really great crop. Like there's this moment at the end in the first episode where you look in the room and you say, the next great fashion brand is absolutely in this room. What was the process like of casting that group of designers, and were you ever nervous? Like, is this going to come together? How are these designers going to be in this context?
Well, we were nervous before we started the process. The other producers winnowed down hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of candidates to a group of 60, and Heidi and I met with those 60 over a period of a very long day. And we winnowed that group of 60 down to 25, then turned it back to the other producers and to Amazon. And we said, we step away from this now. We are confident that any of these 25 designers could win this season of making the cut. So you decide who the 12 are. It just became too daunting for us to take it any further than that. And of course, we were ecstatic by the group. And my emotion in that first episode is because you don't know how they're actually going to perform when they're with you, when they're on the show in the design studio. And I was blown away by the quality of the work and the level of the work. And that's why I felt compelled to declare the next great fashion brand is definitely in this room.
Of course, the personalities of the people had to be a certain mix. I would think that you wanted different types and different, just like their outfits are all reflection of them. You want to have us, the viewer, to, root for them or root against them or whatever and participate that way too, right?
No, it's very true, Susan. And we wanted diversity among them, and diversity in background, diversity in personalities, diversity in design point of view. And what I wasn't prepared for, because I've never been faced with this particular phenomenon, what I wasn't prepared for was how those 12 designers would build a community among them, that they would support each other, nurture each other, help each other. There wasn't that backbiting and squabbling that I'm so used to and that I'm used to having to extinguish. Just stop it, everyone. This was just the loveliest, most user-friendly, and dear, wonderful group of people. I loved being with them.
It is one of I think there's a cliche that reality TV is all about the drama, but I agree with you that I really like it when the designers are more supportive of each other, and it's much more about the competition of the fashion as opposed to like clashing of personalities. And I think you also brought that out. We see you standing next to the designers in every fashion show, watching their looks be shown in this grand kind of production. What's it like getting to stand with them, for every fashion show as they get to see this kind of experience of their looks being walked down the runway and being watched by Naomi Campbell and Heidi Klum and all the judges?
Well, it's a great honor to be able to stand with the designers. I feel like a proud papa in a way. I feel their emotion. I said to Esther in episode 1, when we were in front of the Eiffel Tower, I said, I can feel your heart beating through your shoulder. We were shoulder to shoulder. And she said, I'm so nervous. And it makes you just love them even more. The fact that they're emotional and that they take nothing for granted. There isn't a cynicism or a sense of entitlement. They're overwhelmed by the grandness. I'll tell you something else about that runway in Paris, the Eiffel Tower. You see me standing next to each designer one by one as we watch the first runway, which was cameras on sticks. So it's all at eye level, basically. Then we gathered together, all 13 of us, for the second runway. And what we weren't prepared for was that the jib was going to fly over the runway. And I have to tell you, I'm welling up right now. All 13 of us just burst into tears. It was so breathtakingly beautiful.
Well, one of my favorite moments was, let me see, this is goofy. Was a funny moment, was the packing montage. And I'm thinking it's probably pretty much on point, right?
I hate to say it, it's very much on point. I actually didn't know that about Heidi. She suspected it about me.
Yeah.
If I'm scattered about with everything, so is my brain. So part of my orderliness and my OCD tendency is just that I need to keep myself together, and I'm inclined to fall apart if the circumstances present themselves in a certain way.
And that's another sort of difference between this and Project Runway. We really got to see you and Heidi kind of, just sort of bond together with each other. We got your adventures in Paris and your adventures in Tokyo. You were fencing, and what was it like getting to kind of have those experiences with her throughout the season?
Oh, it was wonderful. And it was actually something else that Heidi and I desired in doing this new show. We wanted to spend more time together because on Project Runway, we rarely interact, and we love each other's company, and we have fun together and laugh a lot. We thought, let's share this with the audience. Also, I'm not in the workroom all day, and Heidi isn't judging all day. So let's have some adventures of our own that don't necessarily advance the plot, but allow people to see other sides of us. And we had a blast. In fact, two of our favorite vignettes were making croissant in Paris and sushi in Tokyo. And it spurred us to say to Sarah Ray, our Uber executive producer, let's do a cooking show.
Well, I would cover that. But now I'm going to ask you something. Daniel and I both covered Project Runway still too, and I just wonder if you've taken any glimpses of it and how Christian has stepped into your shoes.
I'll be honest with you, and I said this from the beginning, I want to be an honest man. I've never seen the show, so I really can't comment on it.
Okay. Well, I'm upset. No, not really. But you would be very proud of Christian. He's really stepped up his game since the first season he did. And
well, I've certainly been following Christian's fashion career, and he's made me very proud indeed. He's an extraordinary designer and person.
Yeah. But what's happening in the fashion industry now that this coronavirus has slowed down everything? And is Johnny able to make his clothing and all that?
Johnny's 20-piece collection is on Amazon right now. Right. And he is in production. I spoke with him yesterday. I mean, of course, this has turned the entire industry upside down, but thank God for online shopping, and more particularly, thank God for Amazon, because these online platforms aren't going anywhere. We don't know yet what's going to happen to bricks and mortar, but online is here to stay.
Right.
And, when you saw those looks, not just Johnny's looks that are on now for his final collection, but week to week, these looks going up and selling out, like when you first started that, like the first looks, like Esther won the first assignments and Jiwon had a look on Amazon. What were we thinking? Are these going to sell? Are these going to sell? Was that always a big question mark? And, what was it like seeing them selling out so fast?
Oh, well, that's exactly what I was thinking. Are these going to sell? And I thought, it'll take weeks, maybe months, but eventually they'll sell out. But no, 24 hours later, they're gone. In fact, I was contemplating getting pieces just as souvenirs, And wrong, nothing. But I did get a menswear look from Johnny's 20-piece collection. I bought the denim jumpsuit.
Well, you didn't like what you were wearing in that one more, streetwear challenge. You look very cute. So.
Thank you. That was fun.
Yeah, I loved the sort of that tux, that suit like one piece was so cool. I would totally wear that too.
It's fun. You should get one.
Yeah, we'll tell Johnny to make one.
So,
is there going to be a second season?
Well, Susan, we're hoping so. Everything's up in the air.
Yeah.
So we're certainly talking about it and making plans for an eventual season 2, and we'd love to do it again. We had such a blast. And will tell you about a season 2. We're committed to not getting into a rut. We're committed to changing things up again. And we'll see where it may take us.
Well, thank you so much for talking with us today, and congratulations on the show. And we have our fingers crossed for a season 2, if only because I would like more clothes to buy on Amazon.
Well, I just want to see more Tim Gunn in my life. So,
Susan, Daniel, thank you so much. And it's an honor to speak with you, and thank you for your time.